watching my friends move or die, the atmosphere is different. I just feel so alone, and depression runs in my family. But don't worry, Judy, this will pass. Well, of course I was worried. So the next time Val and I tag teamed her laundry, I told Val about the conversation, and Val asked Grandma to move in. Grandma accepted, but she justified it by saying that she would be able to keep Val company while Dawn was out of town. Then neither one of them would be lonely. So they painted and rearranged and made Grandma a lovely space of her own. And Thanksgiving of 2011, we moved her in, and guess what? That spunk was back. She was happy. She told me often Dawn, and especially Val, was very good to her. The loneliness and the depression seemed to dissipate. In our immediate family alone, there are 7 families that have 5 generations. Grandma at the Alva's Christmas party, we were fortunate enough to get pictures to treasure for a lifetime. The last trip with Grandma happened last month on Christmas break. With hearing aids in tow, we took her down south to stay with my sister Cammie at her house in Ivins. She stayed with them for 2 nights and went to a Christmas party at Cammie's brother Shandy's house in St. George. She had a great time, got great lots of pictures, and we built lasting memories. Grandma's journey on earth is over, but her journey has just begun. Have a great reunion, Grandma. Thanks for the memories. We'll love you forever.
Mom wrote a little couple of pages about 10 years ago, and I've added to it later. But I'm going to read what she wrote. It was about when she grew up. My life I was born on June 2nd, 1919 at 7:30 p.m. on the farm in Pleasantville, Iowa. Parley P. Olson and Sophia Jones. We moved to Magna in 1922 when I was 3. My early childhood consisted of tending my younger brother and herding cows. I started school at Hawthorne Elementary, which was on 2700 South and 83 North. When I was in 3rd grade, the school was condemned and we were all transferred to Webster through to 6th grade. I went to school at Cypress Junior High, which was across from our house, and graduated in 1937 from Cypress. Dad had a large yard, planted all, with vegetables, berries, and a variety of fruit trees. People were having a hard time feeding their families. Dad was a good negotiator. And he went to Western Gardens and explained to them that he had more property than he could afford seed to plant, but was willing to grow anything to feed more people. Western Gardens wanted to try a new variety, so Dad bought the seed he wanted and they gave him seed which they wanted to see how it would grow in the ceremony. And Dad would report back on the results. I remember that Golden Delicious Apples was one of the new fruit trees that they gave us to try. He let the people know that the food is available, and we would see them come down the street pulling their little red wagons to pick up the fruit and vegetables. After I graduated from high school, I went to Los Angeles, California, and worked as a nanny in Hollywood, taking care of an 8-year-old boy. After only 3 months, I came back. My mother was ill and had me put in a home, so I came home to cook for Dad and help with my brothers, Jerry and Ralph. At this point, this is me talking, at this point in my mom's life, there were 3 very important foundational blocks that she would stand on and pull from the rest of her life. Service to her community, feeding people, and negotiating. She went on to say, when Dad decided to give up the place because he was ill, I married my high school sweetheart, Robert Worthing. Dad was the Justice of the Peace and married us on February 8th, 1938. We left on our honeymoon the next day, taking a load of 5 pigs to Barstow, California. When Dell's folks had moved to there, they were raising sheep. There were so many snakes down there that we slept on top of the water tank to stay away from them. We had to pull the ladder up so they couldn't climb up. They always like warm places, sheep, right? The last of April 1938, it flooded and washed us out. Dell and I returned to Utah. The rest of the family went to Los Angeles, California. I was expecting my first child. I had 2 girls when World War II started, and then they started drafting men. We had lost a son who lived only 8 hours, and our 3rd daughter was born June 7th, 1944. Dell left on June 10th. He was killed in March of 45 in the South Pacific. I was in California at this time. I left and came back home to Magna. I had to find work because there was no welfare or social security. I went to work in a small cafe in Magna. Dell's father, Granddad Worthing, came from California to live with me and help with the girls. The war ended and men were coming home, and I met a returning soldier, Leo Keith Yates, and we were married in September 8, 1945. We moved to Nibley, Utah, and went into Dairy Farm. We bought a house that was just up the square. We asked Granddad Worthing, Mike's father-in-law, to come and stay with us. He was a master carpenter, and he and Keith finished the house. Some of Mom's favorite